Hey guys, how y'all be? Today's episode on Facebook Live with me is I'm actually going to do a duo tandem, a co-host with Reid Garcia, and we're going to talk about vulnerability in times of great possibility. I know, here he comes. Reid, eyebrow exercises on. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Hey there.
Reid, how are you? How are you,
Hey
man?
Matt.
It's good to see you.
I'm I'm good. Yeah,
Yeah, same here.
likewise.
Hey,
Totally.
yeah, so
So
thanks for coming on today. We've been working on some stuff together and really looking at with the amount of possibility that's available to us all when we choose it, how much more vulnerable do we have to be with ourselves and with other people? And we thought we'd, chat a little bit about what else is possible with this and hear a bit from two very different perspectives. Um, so let's start with you, Reid.
it's just yeah, and it's like looking at it like, we both have male bodies in this reality. And the thing when I look at like creating with people, there's definitely been times where I've created with people and it's like I haven't really been willing to like be more vulnerable or be more of me, and I've had to kind of like let go of that facade and kind of like, okay, who am I really here in the face of vulnerability, and to kind of step into a different space of, okay, so if I was truly being me, who would I
Mm,
be here? And just kind of dropping those barriers to what I have to be on camera, like how I have to show
yeah,
up. And I get that's more of a game changer, than pretending to be something that you're not. And so, how about you, Matt?
yeah, it's a game changer than pretending to be something you're not. I heard somebody say the other day, don't waste your time trying to be someone else because someone's already being that person. Um, and I look at the places, I look back to the places where I was, emulating someone else, where I was trying to create my life by being somebody else that was, let's say they were successful, or I looked up to them, or they were, someone in my life that was of, great emotional value to me at some point. And then when I was being that person, there was a sense of calmness and a sense of comfortableness. But when you choose to be you, because most of the time you're going to have no idea how it's going to show up, you literally get to be that vulnerable person, that person that can say anything and more than likely will still be received as they are. Um, I find that when you're being vulnerable, which is, pressing all your barriers down. Can everybody do that? Everybody knows how to do that. Maybe? Okay. Anybody that doesn't,
Hope
yeah,
so.
it's easy. I do too. Love to have more vulnerable people in my world. Um, it's as easy as rolling down your window in your car. It's just like lower the glass. So can everybody just lower the glass booth or cylinder or whatever your life is so you can start to receive from the world around you? And do you immediately have like a sensory input coming from your body? And does your being start to sense other things? Do you allow the intensity of life and living to start coming into your life? Because without the intensity of life and living, how will you ever be you? It'll be like you'll be the bubble boy or something, you know? And like with Reid, the
Yeah, the bubble
bubble
boy.
boy. Yeah, does that ring for you? Yeah. Like,
I think I was having a conversation the other day about Bubble
oh,
Boy with
really?
somebody. It could be a good movie to run
Yeah.
bars with.
I probably
So,
took it out of your head or something. And that's something that's also really key. when you're in this space of vulnerability where you just let all your points of view down, that this reality may be saying is, you are being weak when you're vulnerable. How easy is it to know where other people function from so that you can really be in choice for you? And with your barriers up, you're talking to everybody through your fingers, and you're like, I'm kind of getting half of what you're saying. I'm kind of getting some of it, but I really don't get what you're saying, sort of thing. Um, and talk's kind of overrated in that, space too when you're being vulnerable. Um, I don't know, like us working together has been huge
Yeah.
because um, it's brought up so much of the stuff for me that I had no idea that I had a judgment about myself about. I was judging myself for, you know, being a man, or maybe you're judging yourself for being a woman. And then as we've worked together, there's been, with the vulnerability, it's like, oh, wow, all those things I was sure were mine, was wrong about me, right about me, they're actually not mine. They're common.
Yeah. And it's cool because like what you talk about, like as we've been working together, it's like it does put things there for me to see and to choose and to kind of like, where else could I function here, um, if I didn't have to be, like what people think that I have to be, like a male is supposed to be like, a dick or a asshole or whatever that is. And so it's like lowering those barriers to like going beyond that
Hmm.
image. And so it's been really, just not easy, but to like look at that stuff and to actually like this Facebook Live here is an awesome opportunity for us to even change even more and to see where else we can go just by being here, and to be out of definition, like as in we're not just these male bodies, we're these infinite beings that have just happen to have
Yeah.
male bodies. And
Yeah, it just happened to have a male body this lifetime. How many times have you made it your entire reality about, oh, this is how I am, this is how I be, and there's no other possibilities? Which leads us into this next chapter of greater possibilities or intense possibilities in your reality. Yeah, when you're willing to be the vulnerability and there's a lot more possibilities around, you start talking faster, you start feeling happier, and you're just like, oh wow, there's a lot of energy moving through my world, and blah, 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 blah. And then, if you're willing to stay with that and be with that because it's genuine for you in those moments, more shows up, more shows up, not less. Like when your kids are telling you to be quiet and shut up and stop fidgeting around and all kinds of stuff. Well, what if that's like the rightness of you?
I know
Did that ever happen to you?
that's what I was getting. Yeah, it was totally like go go to school and let's be a little a little guy that's supposed to like sit down and
Uh-huh.
focus on everything, and it's kind of like, yeah, that the whole like OCD kind of thing. It's like, there's all this other stuff. Like we're so aware of so much stuff, you know, um, in these bodies, all like, we have the five senses and stuff, and we're like so aware of beyond all that. And so it's like being in that space of vulnerability. It's like for me, like it opens up those sensory inputs to going beyond the five senses. It's like the sixth sense, seventh sense, whatever, how many senses are out there. It like opens up the doorway to all those other senses. And it's like, it's very cool. If, for people that are watching now and in the future, if, you want to kind of just tap into that and just like, lower your barriers and just see like, well, what's it like to have, a reality with just the five senses, like what's beyond, um, living from, the eyes, the ears, the smell, whatever all those five
Hmm.
senses are.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like
so
I can hear the birds in your side of the video right now, and they're just like, oh my God, it's just a delight for me. And I'm sensing how far beyond my five senses, like a lot or a little? You know, what if we just,
A
what if I
lot.
was
Yeah.
Trump and I said, from now on, nobody gets to use anything but their five senses. Sorry, we're going to actually turn them off. And you'll be hearing the birds from Reid's video and you'll just be going, I don't get it. What is that? Sort of thing. You won't get the joy.
Yeah.
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 And those senses, you know, would you say 5, 6, 7? Yeah. What if sense number 71 was actually bird communion or something weird, you know, or animal capacities that are so beyond your reality that you'd never find them with barriers up and shields up and your armor on. So,
Yeah. It reminds me of, I just got an image of like a knight, you know, in shining armor, and they're doing the jousting and stuff. They're running towards each other with all that armor.
right. I'm already getting the rest of the story from you. That's great. But please tell our studio audience.
Yeah, it could be a little skit,
Yeah.
but anyways,
Cool.
that's a little side note.
Well, another part is part of the energy pulls, which is something that, you know, I had to do for like a year and a half to even get to a point where I could start to use them, which is where you're really vulnerable and you pull energy from everything, every single molecule and space and consciousness in the universe into your reality. You've got to be vulnerable to receive, or it's kind of like, you know, shooting a fire hose at a wall. It's like you got a lot of energy moving, but you're deflecting it with your vulnerability. And I think one of my biggest misnomers in the past, you know, was like, oh, this is before I had any question or even desired to have any tools in my life, was like, if I put up a shield for this person, then I just won't have to deal with that person. But shields, they're not very smart. They block everything. So if you put up a shield for some guy who was being an asshole to you, guess what? Every person that has even a vaguely, I'm saying vaguely similar energy to that person, girl, guy, animal, universe, it can't get to you anymore. And now you've pretty much just put a plug in one of these greater possibility pathways that you're asking for. So, hey, look, there's Jacqueline. Hi. So, would you guys all like to do maybe a little energy pull? Or it might be a lot bigger than a little. But yeah, Reid and I'll walk you through one here. It's pretty easy. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, wherever you guys are in your life, can you just acknowledge the chair under your bum, floor under your feet, and expand out? If you're in a beautiful place like Reid and nature, or if you're in a hotel like me and realizing it's all just molecules in space, can you just receive it all? There you go. That's our capacity to be ourselves when we're receiving. And now all the barriers that you're sure were useful to you at one point, would you be willing to lower them just for, just for a couple of minutes and see what starts to show up in your reality right away? And just say 1, 2, 3 barriers down. 1, 2, 3 barriers down. And see if your body starts to receive more. Yeah, that's receiving. That's not being soft and uncalculated and clueless. That's receiving. And now, can you expand out at least as big as the room that you're in? If you're not in a room and you're outdoors, expand into a space that's as big as the city you're in and the state. And expand up and down and all directions, all the way around. Just because you can, just for you. just for fucking fun, please. Just try it. And this is where I like to hand it off to Reid, and he talks about the pull. He's a puller.
The puller. Okay, so now that we have those barriers down and we're sinking more into the earth or this chair and all that stuff, and acknowledge all the molecules that are here in the universe. Every single one of them. You don't have to count them, but just acknowledge them and just say hey to them, say hi to them. And every one of those molecules that are out there that can contribute to you, and actually, as a side note, all the things that you're asking for in your life, just kind of get a sense of that. You don't have to name it, you don't have to define it. It's just get an energy of those things, those people, those places, the events or situations, just the energy that you would like to have, without a space of defining it or confining it. And once you get that sense of that energy, just kind of include that in your space and just kind of tug on all of those molecules that are around you, all the ones that are in the universe. Include that energy with all those molecules. And just start to tug. Just start to tug at all those molecules, pull them in, pull them in, pull them towards you, pull them towards you. And there's nothing to do here. It's just a being. Just pull them.
And as soon as you start to ask, can I pull? Can I receive? Can I be vulnerable? Like Reid was saying, you don't have to do anything. The universe immediately actualizes your request. And if it's not enough, guess what? You just could say, can I have 100 times more inflow? Can I have 100 times more receiving? Can I push my vulnerability down another 100 times? And the universe has got your back. I mean, like a heart attack. It's just like, boom, it's there. Not like a heart attack die, but a heart attack good, if that's possible. Yeah, a good heart attack. And then just allow that energy to flow in and through you.
And trickle your energy back out into those molecules. Keep trickling and keep pulling, keep trickling, keep pulling. So it's like pulling the molecules, saying hey to them, saying hey, and actually like just like what could you be with those molecules that you've never been before? Maybe play with them, engage with them. What's that space that you can be with all these molecules that'll create greater possibilities for you and all of us in the universe and for consciousness? Keep pulling, keep trickling, keep pulling, keep trickling. And you can do this wherever you are, whether you're at work, in the car, eating a sandwich, drinking a Coke, or watching a movie.
Sandwich pull?
You can do this anywhere and everywhere. Yeah. I was going to say cheeseburger,
yeah.
But it said, I don't know, I just said hamburger.
If you want a hamburger or cheeseburger, just put a cheeseburger into the space in front of you and pull energy into it. It's possible. Someone will just bring you one or email you a burger. I don't know. Can they do that? I don't know if they can do that. They probably can. What else is possible?
There's got to be technology out there with emails with burgers in them.
Like a Star Trek burger transporter. Whoa, that would be cool.
That's so cheesy.
True story. And you know, I want to comment on something you said, Reid. There's two things about doing these energy pulls, or three things. And the first one is, would you give yourself a break if you think you're not doing it wrong? Because there's no way you can do being you wrong. That actually made sense. That was cool. There's no way you can do being you wrong. And number two, get like Reid mentioned, the energy of how maybe you feel or how you sense your life to be after you've received the things you're asking for. You know, like it's a relationship, just like, okay, I got it. And it's like, and pull that energy into your life right now. And if it's more income or financial flows, or maybe you need some more business acumen in your reality, get the energy of how you be once you already have it. Make it right now and pull energy in there. And number four, I'm pulling so much energy right now, I'm not sure I can recall it, but if I remember it, I'm going to let you guys know in a minute. Reid probably knows. I think, yeah.
I'm just like in a just kind of
Yeah.
melting right now, so it's just a really juicy space
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Are you guys willing to melt all the stuff away that it's in your reality that everyone has said, no, you can't do that? And it'd just be fun for you not to have all this glop and glom stuck all over you that you've agreed to or aligned or resisted to at one point that is creating this, unvulnerable space at you. Because you being vulnerable is such a gift, not only to the world, but you. It's this, what do they call that? It's this gift of simultaneity where time doesn't actually, it's not actually real anymore. So you can have the energy of whatever you're asking for the moment you ask for it. Um, and then things can actualize a little bit later on as far as it showing up, in this reality. How much fun would that be for you? Just like instant karma coffee shop. I think that's what they used to call it, Reid. Instant actualization thing. Yeah.
Yes,
So, yeah, you're going to say something.
I was just gonna say, now where else can we go with where we are with all this yummy energy? Oh, and I was gonna say about 20 minutes ago, like, yeah, like the melt like
Mm,
butter, melt those other barriers like butter.
yeah, exactly. Melt like butter. Yeah. Are you willing to be that little defined, and are you willing to have that little amount of definition in your world? Gary Douglas of Access Consciousness was talking about your business, and I'm a business and body facilitator. And the one thing he said that was just epic that started changing my world 3 days ago, he's like, he said, you've got to start destroying and uncreating your business and everything you know about it every day, and do it for like 10 days. And your relationship, destroy and uncreate everything about it and do it for 10 days and see if a new level of vulnerability and possibility shows up in them. And I started doing that with my business a couple, 3 days ago, and it's been getting weird and shifty and wonky in ways that are actually bringing more joy into my life. So as you do more energy pulls, it's really hard to hold things in place, which allows how much more energy to come into your business, your relationship, or your life. A lot more or a lot less.
A lot
Yeah.
more, yeah. And there's a piece of this too. It's like the Utopian Ideal book that Gary Douglas
Mm,
had written. The persona versus image
yeah.
thing, about kind of what we were talking about, like this whole conversation about where image is this thing that's defined and persona is like an energy of the space that you be, like no definition. So it's like, what invitation can persona be for all of us to just be us in all of our relationships, in with creating with our business, um,
Mm,
just and it's just like a space of like, here I am, and this is what I am, and I can be any energy that I desire to be.
yeah. There's like no apologies for you being you. how cool would it be to get up in the morning and look in the mirror and just be like, I got your back today. You're fucking awesome right how you are. Even with that big pimple on your ass, I love you just how you are, and know that you got your own back. And as you choose that more, you'll become aware of what else needs to change in your life for it to even be easier for you and be more expansive for you. And like for me, all the places that I'm not being vulnerable have been for periods of time. It's been pretty painfully uncomfortable until it shifts. But what if those could even be shorter moments for you as you move through your path to having more energy, more possibilities, and more joy with your business and your body and your relationships, because that's what we want for you. We got your back if you keep your back available. Oh, that didn't come out right. Yeah.
Something like
Okay,
something like that.
We got your back if it's open. Yeah. If you're willing to have someone have your back. So, God, I hope we get to see some of our lovely studio audience here soon. Maybe we'll see you at one of our classes soon. Love to meet you all in person.
That'd be awesome.
And if you have any comments or questions, we're here to answer them, give you any other information we can so you guys can have a little bit more space or a lot more space. So thanks a lot, guys, girls, beings
Thanks,
without
everyone.
bodies.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Reid.
Thanks, everyone watching now
Yes,
in the future.
What he said. Okay, guys, bye.
Let's see. Oh, it's that way. All right, bye.